Okay guys, so the next step is after we did the core aeration, you know, it shouldn't take that long for whoever you hire to do it. But after that, we're gonna do the fertilizer. Now the fertilizer is the most important part of this operation. If you core aerate without putting anything down, fertilizer or any other amendments, you're missing a great opportunity to strengthen the yard. So here are the things you're gonna need for your fertilizer. I suggest the YardMastery. You can get whatever flavor you want. I go with 1776 because I just like the way the bag look. It works great. It greens up. You can go with 2406 or you can go with the 7020. It's up to you. If you're starting a new lawn, try the starter fertilizer, or you can actually go with the 1776. Now one thing I want you to know, you're going to need a blower. All right, you're going to need maybe a handheld spreader. I do like my Scots, but my favorite is my Ryobi. This used to be my best, but the problem with it now is that these granulars are so thick, this Scots has a problem and sometimes jam up. Now, if you're using a Scots fertilizer, it's gonna work great because those are micro. But if you're using something a little bigger like this, you might want to switch over to the Ryobi. This is battery operated. I love this thing. Beast mode. Now also you're going to need some gloves. Of course you're going to need the eyewear, a spreader. Lawnmower is optional, but lawnmower is generally after you done this. You should have did this before you actually core aerated, but that's an option that you can mow the lawn after you have it core aerated. But I will wait until I get this stuff watered in. Now let me explain to you about this YardMastery 1776 or all the YardMastery fertilizers. They generally will have the NPK. A lot of them won't have the phosphorus unless you're going with starter or the 1776. But they generally have a lot more stuff in it than other fertilizers don't. It's a crafted fertilizer, which means it's uniquely made. Let me show you. So when you get this, it's got a thing in it called Bionite. Now you see that right there. That's similar to Milorganite, but if you don't get a whole bag of it, I think you get 3 or 4 pounds of it per bag, something like that. This is a 45-pound bag, covers 15,000 square feet. So know your square footage when you get this fertilizer. Don't go get a 15,000 bag of fertilizer and apply it over 5,000 square feet. You gotta know your yard. If you don't know what square footage is, click right there. But guys, this thing also has all these other ingredients that you're not going to find in other fertilizers. And I'll just be quick with it. Soluble potash, magnesium, sulfur, that'll help get it back in balance if it's out of balance. Iron, chelated iron, which is going to green it up. I think this bag is at 3% of iron right here, and there's a lot of other stuff that you can read. Now on the front bag, they do have the spreader settings. Not that hard, guys, and I'll be honest with you, I got a Let's Go. It's always been my favorite spreader, but if you guys go with that Scott's Deluxe or Mini or something like that, or the Earthway, they have the spreader settings down there. It's real easy, guys. Just put the fertilizer in the spreader, put it on the spreader setting, and start pushing. You do not need to go get a bucket and start measuring and weighing all kinds of stuff. This is when lawn care gets out of control and it gets not fun. So my theory is, or my new statement is, let's make lawn care simple again. So my lawn is 17.5. This 15,000 square foot bag. I'm gonna need all of it. Just simply cut it. All right. Dump it out in your fertilizer spreader. Now mine comes with this nice cover right here, guys, and we're going to spread this on the yard, guys. I'll start right here and I'll let you see. So before I finish spreading, listen, there's 2 ways to do this. You can push it and have the fertilizer throw out to the line, or if you got one of those blockers, you can push it right down on the line. You can go around the border first, then work the inside back and forward, or you can go back and forward But when you get to the end, you're gonna have to cut it off, go over about 3 feet, turn it back on. For you guys who have those Scott spreader, the mini really doesn't throw out a lot. For us feet wise, it's going to be like 3 feet. This I can get anywhere from 8 to 13 feet. The deluxe, I think it's about 5 feet. When you're using those small spreaders, understand the fertilizer is coming out if you put it on the setting that it's supposed to be. All right, it's not going to look like a lot, but it's going to be what it's supposed to be. If you're using a Scott spreader and your yard is wet or moist, like you're trying to apply weed and feed, that stuff is going to get stuck to the bottom of the wheels, and it's not going to spread like it's supposed to, and it's going to leave a streak. I highly suggest you look into a Chapin, or you could look into something like this. This costs about $400 something odd. It's a pro model. I'll leave a link, but I would spend anywhere from $150 to $250 on a spreader. You get what you pay for, guys. Stop being cheap sometimes, and you're complaining about the results, but you don't have the right equipment. All right, so you can see as I'm pushing it, it's coming out over there, it's coming out over here. When I get down here, I'm gonna do a border pass. All right, but I have to keep an eye on where the fertilizer is actually being thrown to. Later on, I'm gonna come back with the blower and blow that fertilizer back into the yard, because sometimes the iron in it will stain your concrete. Okay guys, so you got the vanity strips. I love this Ryobi. I just can't get enough of it. I do it from the outside to the inside, and I'll come back and blow the stuff that lands in the street or on the sidewalk back into the grass. For these areas that's hard to hit, like in between all of this, that's where this comes in handy. Now don't go and skeet dry fertilizer and bury the grass, guys. It's just a little bit is needed. You see that granular fertilizer? All right, what's gonna happen when it rains, water, it's getting a lot of airflow already, and the fertilizer nutrients will go down into that hole. These holes have roots down in them. Those roots are going to tap in down there, and they're going to get fed fertilizer, and you're going to have deeper roots, which means your yard is going to be healthier in the long run. All right guys, so the way it works also, fertilizer is not going to work unless you water the product into the soil. If you let your fertilizer sit there 2-3 weeks without any type of hydration, it's not going to work. To get the best out of that fertilizer, you need to water at least 2 or 3 times the first week you get the product on the ground. The second week, maybe a couple of days a week. After that, if you're watering only once a week, you can go back to that. But if you're watering every month or something like that, and that fertilizer hasn't had a chance to get into the soil, it's not going to work. A pro tip is to water your yard a couple of days before you do this procedure. All right, so the ground will be conducive. It'll already be moist on the inside, and it'll take that fertilizer down even farther. But if you're putting fertilizer on a dry, crunchy ass lawn and you're watering it in to runoff, you're gonna get bleed off. The ground should be moist in a sense. Now, when these guys come by, True Green and all those other guys, they got one job, is to get the fertilizer down. A lot of times they'll leave a note or something in your mailbox telling you you need to water it. But those are the procedures and the tips. All right guys, if you haven't put down pre-emergent, you need to go ahead and do it now. Check this video out.